Hey guys, it's Ness here at Cake Style, and today I am going to show you how to make this amazing ice cream sundae cake, complete with ice cream scoop that looks like it's hanging in midair. This turned out super cute and it's also super easy to make. So there's a bunch of structural stuff that goes into this cake, and I've added all the details in the description box for you of what to buy at your local hardware store. And we want to basically have a nice copper center so that we can create the big scoop on top and have it drizzling all the way down into our bowl. Now I've baked a 7-inch round and an 8-inch round cake. I'm going to cut both of those into 2 layers, and then I'm going to use a cookie cutter to cut out the center. I want to do this to all of them, and then I'm going to stack them up with the 7-inch underneath and the 8-inch on top, and then cut all the way down the side to make it easy to assemble. Now I'm placing a bit of modeling chocolate around the copper because I don't want the copper to be touching the cake. I'm then going to add my cake board and then start stacking up all of those cakes. Now I am using my sweet buttercream recipe. I have made it up in a vanilla as well as a chocolate, and I'm going to be filling it with Neapolitan colors inside because that really goes with the whole ice cream sundae theme. Now while I'm layering this cake, I want to say that this video has been sponsored by Best Fiends. Best Fiends is a free puzzle adventure game where you collect and build a team of fiends of your own and defeat slugs by matching same colored objects. This month Best Fiends is having the biggest update ever. They have added over 100 levels, and you can play in the summertime event where you can win huge rewards. You can even play the game without an internet connection, and I'm on level 43. If you haven't downloaded this game yet, be sure to check out the description box because following my download link will get you $5 worth of gold and diamonds for free. Now I'm taking a bread knife and I'm going to shave down the cakes so that they all line up and look like one. We want to go from big to small still, but we want to go all the way around the cake, and you want to make sure that by the time you're done you can see just a hint of that cake board underneath. I'm also going to take the edge off the top just so that it's a little bit softer and smoother. And then I'm going to take all of those excess crumbs as well as some sweet buttercream, and I'm going to mush it all up and create some cake pops. Now these are going to be the scoops of ice cream. All I did was take a baking sheet and some parchment paper, roll them out and flatten them at the bottom. Getting back to our big cake, I want to do a crumb coat all the way around the sides and the top of this cake, and then I'm going to allow it to chill for a good 15 minutes before I do a final coat. Now when you're doing this final coat, you want to make sure your modeling chocolate is ready because straight away we're going to start rolling that out. Now I've made it in a beautiful shade of sky blue, and I just want to roll it pretty thick still, but I want to cut it so it's got a curve, and the curve will help us to go from big on top to small on the bottom. I've measured it out, mine's 24 inches long, and I'm going to use a small rolling pin just to make it a lot easier to pick this up. You want to go ahead and wrap this all the way around the cake, working pretty quickly because you want to make sure that that buttercream is still nice and soft. I'm going to use an X-Acto knife to trim this all up. Now we want to chop off all of the excess, again with an X-Acto knife, and I want to leave it overhanging just a touch. Okay, I'm going to create some little spots for this cake. You can decorate your bowl in any way you like, but I just want to attach these with a little bit of water, and I made mine in a pretty lemon yellow color. All right, it's now time for the fun part. We're going to be creating those ice cream scoops, and all I'm doing is taking some modeling chocolate that's a little bit firm but still soft enough that I can pull it and drag it, and you'll see that doing that straight away gives all of those little ripple effects that ice cream have. This was so much easier than I thought it was going to be. I thought I'd be fiddling for ages to get the texture, but all you want to do really is just start stretching that modeling chocolate, and straight away you'll see that it's looking perfect for this cake. I really love it in the chocolate brown color, but I also made sure to make some little chocolate chips because one of my favorite flavors is mint chocolate chip. So I had to add a couple of scoops of those. And when you're doing this, you want to place a few of them underneath just so that you can start to see them poking through. And you want to top it off by cutting some in half and popping them in little random spots. Now I also made some strawberry as well as some vanilla, but once you've got them all ready, I want to do a dry run and just start stacking them up to get an idea of how many I'm going to need and where I want to put them. Once I'm pretty happy, I want to do the first layer and just pop them down with a little bit of the buttercream. And in between, I'm going to place some little chunks of our modeling chocolate so it looks like there's even more scoops underneath. You can even cut some in half to get into those difficult little spots. But once you're happy with it, we want to keep going on the top. So I'm adding a little bit of modeling chocolate just to make everything stick to it. I'm covering, instead of a cake pop, just a chunk of modeling chocolate, but I'm doing the exact same method, popping that on the front, and now it's time to get started on that scoop. To make the scoop, I just basically want to create a ring of modeling chocolate, so I'm using a round cookie cutter to help me. And I want to place that all the way around the scoop that's sitting on top. Now modeling chocolate sticks to itself pretty well, but you can always add a touch of water if you need to. Once I've got that on both sides and fully attached, I just want to go ahead and place a little round section at the back. I've added some little grooves to go around the copper. And then it's time to make my favorite part, which is the actual handle. So I'm rolling out some chocolate, but I'm making sure it's thicker on one end and thinner on the other. I also want to make sure it's the exact same length of the copper because I don't want any section of copper not covered, but I also really love how that adds structure and strength. So I want to make sure that I don't go any further than that either. You just want to press to join that all together. And then I'm just using a little circle of modeling chocolate to patch up the end. Now you can decorate your handle any way you like. I'm just adding a little bit of trim before getting started on our drizzle. I need to move some of the scoops of ice cream just so that I can get this as far down as possible. I had so much fun doing this part. It was definitely the moment when the cake really came together and started looking super cool. But that scoop does need a little bit of shine. So I'm using some silver as well as some clear alcohol. It's silver dust. And I'm just going to paint that all over the ice cream scoop. And then I've made up some yummy dark chocolate ganache and I'm just going to pour that over the cake. I just want it to be really random and kind of chunky like it would be if this was a real ice cream sundae. I'm topping it off with some big sprinkles and I've added a little cherry on top. And that's how you make a giant ice cream cake. I hope you really enjoyed watching. I know these cakes tend to look a little intimidating, so hopefully I've demystified it a bit for you. Remember to hashtag CakeStyle to tag me in your creations, and also be sure to check out the description box to download the Best Fiends game for yourself.